guys can hear me. If you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If you guys can't hear me, I guess I won't see any thumbs up. And while you guys are doing that, hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to give a shout out to everybody that's in the room. So real quick, shout out to my man, Mr. Knock in the building. We got Janesta Coleman in the building. We got my man, Carlton Way, suddenly in the building. You know what I'm saying? We got one of my favorite trolls in the house. The world is correct. Hoteps. Everybody throw some radiation emoji for the world is correct. Hoteps in the building. We got Cameron Jones up in here. You know what I'm saying? Who else we got up in here? We got my man, Bronze the God. We in this bad boy. We got Tone. That's what's up. That's what's up. And we got Lloyds. What up with it, Lloyds? Good to see you as always, all right? So let me ask you guys a question. And we got Deneen. Deneen popping in the building. What up with it, Deneen? Good to see you. How many people heard about these quote-unquote files that came out with your boy Joe Biden? As much stuff as quote-unquote coming out of Joe Biden, you might think he might have had a little bit too much Metamucil this morning. You know what I'm saying? Might have had a little bit too much Metamucil because Joe Biden is sitting up there and stuff is coming out suddenly. That's why he's sitting there on the thumbnail looking stressed out with the three flat lines on his forehead. You know what I'm saying? This article right here came out from The Hill. All right. And what it says is that the GOP is energized by this discovery of quote-unquote Biden classified documents. So let's check this out real quick.
Documents that were found in President Biden's private office from when he was vice president. This is according to the New York Times. President Biden's lawyers discovered a small number of classified documents in his former office at a Washington think tank last fall.
Attorney General Merrick.
Now, let's ask this question. Is the vice president allowed to have classified documents? Is the vice president allowed to declassify documents? Let me know in the comment section.
Garland has tapped a Trump.
The Department of Justice is reviewing classified documents that were found in President Biden's private office from when he was vice president. This is according to the New York Times. President Biden's lawyers discovered a small number of classified documents in his former office at a Washington think tank last fall.
Attorney General Merrick Garland has tapped a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney, John Lausch, to investigate the discovery. And for obvious reasons, there have been a lot of comparisons made between what's going on with Joe Biden in these documents.
Has the deep state now set its sights on Joe Biden?
What do you think this is for?
Has the deep state now set its sights on Joe Biden? Man, this dude they got on the Hill sounds like he should be working for the Biden administration, don't he?
Obviously, there's a bit of a I told you so vibe coming out of certain quarters of the right wing. People that are Democrats are pushing back, saying this is a very different case, that, you know, there were months, over a year actually, between when there were first requests for Donald Trump to return his documents and the fact that he was not complying is what ultimately resulted in the raid, that the volume of documents was much larger. I think there are 10 documents at issue in the Biden case versus 13,000 total, 103 classified and 18 top secret documents that Donald Trump had. And also there were all of these stories that had been reported about Donald Trump destroying documents. And that's where the sense of urgency perhaps came from, none of which so far has been the case in the Biden scenario. So what do you think about these two?
I mean, to be honest, they seem like pretty different situations based on the fact that, like, Biden's people found these documents and then said, we have them, how can we return them to you? Where in the other case, they're like, hey, can you give us back those documents? And the Trump people said, no, fight me. So it's a very different sort of, like, I'm sure there are some people on.
Now, look, pay very close attention to this, because this is the media at its finest. We're just going to act like, you know, these weren't part of the vice president files. And the vice president doesn't have the same privileges as the president. We're going to just act like that. Did y'all catch that? If you guys caught that, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If you guys didn't, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Perfect Pure and shout out to Sari. What up with it? Good to see y'all.
On the right who are like, aha, Biden did. Well, if Trump can be arrested and imprisoned for this, why aren't they going to come from Biden? It just seems a very, very different, because again, he's giving them back, which is what they wanted Trump to do.
For sure.
Honestly, what it will probably show is that Trump could have avoided a lot of legal headaches for himself by just giving back the documents, which again, as I said at the time, it does. Then people on the other side are, went over their skis a little bit with this, saying, the nuclear secrets were just anyone could have walked through Mar-a-Lago and
yes, and
gotten our most valuable secrets.
It's a love letter to North Korea and all,
Right.
They did.
In all reality, they're probably not very important documents.
Yeah.
It's probably fine that he has them, but also he was supposed to give them back. And he can't. You're right that he can just declassify documents, but he has to actually do the process of declassifying.
Right.
He can't just
wave your hand.
That said, it doesn't. No one has presented evidence to me that it's like such a big deal that there should be charges or any kind of national security implications in the Trump case.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I will say this: the joyous overreach from the MSNBC crowd about what might be in the Trump documents. I mean, segment after segment of just pure speculation about what possibly this could be in there that would damn Trump once and for all, with big cheesy Cheshire cat grins on everybody's faces. That basically starts to open the door to people making more of the Joe Biden situation than it was. And I think that sometimes Democrats have to really realize not to overextend their arguments, because inevitably people make these kinds of mistakes.
But they can't help themselves on the Trump maybe going to jail front, on the we're gonna get him this time. This is the thing. Like they're so, it's sad. They're so strung along by Mueller time type thinking.
For sure, and it undermines their credibility with other more substantive arguments. I mean, I'm someone who was largely, I didn't follow the 1-6 commissions and the reports and the hearings as closely as most, I'm not a Democrat, but that a lot of Democrats did, especially Democrats that are in the business, as it were. And the emphasis on the 1-6 insurrection, like the actual day at the Capitol, I think has detracted from, and Jen Briney of Congressional Dish podcast, who reads all the hearing reports and reads all of the congressional filings, did a good deep dive on this. It has obscured the bigger story about the election interference, the efforts at election interference that preceded the events at the Capitol. So, Donald Trump making calls to secretaries of state and trying to get them not to certify the slate of electors and trying to put together fake slates of electors, doing those kinds of actually legal activities. We'll see if he actually gets, if those charges stick. But that is such a bigger story. But anybody trying to tell that story has their credibility meaningfully undermined by making such a big deal of things like returning documents and pretending like an FBI raid, was it warranted? Was it necessary? I'm not sure. There are experts that will speak to that. But all the pomp and circumstance around events like that really takes away from these more important legal claims that are being put together by folks who have much less a sensationalist background.
Well, meanwhile, Morning Joe host Joe Scarborough did a lengthy comedy bit mocking comparisons between Biden's classified documents and the criminal probe into former President Donald Trump over classified documents. Let's watch.
Okay, so on these docs, I mean, it's the same thing, right? Because Trump had docs, Biden has Trump. This first question, so did Joe Biden's lawyers lie to the FBI and the DOJ about actually having all the documents returned to them? Did he do that?
No, they did not. As soon as they discovered that there were these documents in this think tank associated with Joe Biden, they then notified.
Now, I got a question for you, right? Because this is what I'm curious about. I'm curious about the Joe Biden think tank. Shout out to Nine Nichols and shout out to Jay. What up with y'all? Let me ask you guys a question. What kind of ideas do you guys think that they came up with in the quote unquote Joe Biden think tank? And that think tank's got to be pretty big, because we all know that Joe Biden and his administration don't have a brain. So that think tank's got to be working in overtime. They're probably getting paid pretty well. You know what I'm saying? What kind of stuff do you guys think that the Joe Biden think tank comes up with? The only thing that I can think that they come up with is ways to ruin the economy, ways to not pay reparations, and ways to supply Hunter Biden with Hennessy and cocaine. That's the only thing that I can think that they spend their time trying to figure out. What do you guys think?
But the DOJ, obviously, just like in the Trump case, so they had to go into long, drawn-out negotiations, right, to try to get these Biden documents back like they did in the Trump case. Long, drawn out negotiations over a month. They had to do that, right?
Actually, Joe, no, they didn't. The Biden team turned over the documents the very next day after they discovered them.
Okay, but the Biden team, though, before they turned it over, just like the Trump team, because I'm sure it's the same thing. This is the same thing with both of them. I'm sure the Biden team, in between that time when they turned it back, Biden had them go in to the warehouses and remove the rooms, remove documents, right? Get them out of there after they were notified by the DOJ to hide them somewhere?
No, President Biden has said that he first learned that these documents even existed and were in his materials when his lawyers discovered them in November. There was no effort to hide them. They turned them over.
Hold on, though. Okay, so fine. But it's still the same thing because we all know, we've all read the stories when Biden was vice president. He would often tear up.
I think he was doing a bit.
Yes, certainly a bit. Look, I think
Does our desk look like that? They had stuff all over their table. I feel like I need to be more
just straighten up a little bit, so you don't look that.
Yeah.
I kind of respect that Mika's fully just bringing shawls onto set to stay warm.
You always complain about being
always cold,
always
and
cold.
I kind of respect the boldness there. But look, I think one of my favorite takes on all of this, it seems like a bunch of a nonsense story, a lot of it, mostly just a nonsense story. But Edward Snowden tweeted that, yes, Trump and Biden and Hillary all mishandled classified documents. You could argue who did it worse.
Did you guys know about Hillary mishandling classified documents? If you guys knew about Hillary mishandling classified documents, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't, give me a thumbs down. Here's my question. Why are all of these people walking around free? I mean, we should ask Dana White. They must all have the same legal defense team. They probably do.
They were doing in that bit. Or you can question if we really need a system that crushes ordinary workers who fall afoul of it while excusing the same crimes if they're done by elites. And I think that's a solid point. Nobody who is a president, vice president, former secretary of state is really going to go down over any of this. Elites don't go to jail and aren't prosecuted the way that whistleblowers and leakers who are leaking in the interest of the public are so harshly punished. And I think that's the real lesson here.
Well, and also maybe we don't have to have so many classified documents because the default should be that everything is available to the American people. The American people deserve to know what our government is doing and saying and communicating, even about complex and sensitive foreign policy subjects. What they're able to do when it's all hidden from view is usually not to our benefit. I'm sure there are cases and there are certain things that need to be kept secret. Yes, but that should be the exception. But it's always.
I don't think anything needs to be kept secret. As long as we paying tax, we need to know exactly what we're spending our tax money on. When we stop paying tax and we get everything for free, sure, whatever, keep stuff secret. But as long as I'm paying money, I want to know what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
The rule with these people increasingly. They're shielded from accountability. And then when we find out, then when it gets leaked, when an Edward Snowden type figure tells us what they're actually doing, what they actually think of us, what their actual policies are, they're horrifying and no one supports them.
Right.
So now you guys heard that, all right? And we're going to come back to this article. But before we go to this article, speaking of Democrats and speaking of Democrat think tanks, I want to share with you guys this video on Twitter that Nicole's View shared. I don't know if you guys follow Nicole View. She also has a YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? She's a really good YouTuber, talks about a lot of the same type of content that I talk about, talks about a lot of the same type of content that TD talks about. She posted up a really good video, and I think you guys would be interested in it. This right here is what it says. So shots were fired at the Black channel. You guys know that that's the Black Authority. Professor Black Truth. Shout out to Professor Black Truth. And Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is why the grassroots are no longer entertaining these corporate bootlicks. The days of listening to their over-the-top, elitist, black boule garbage is over. There is no going back on you clowns. If you guys agree with that tweet, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with that tweet, give me a thumbs down. I agree with that tweet wholeheartedly. Now, pay very close attention to what you guys hear on this, all right? Mark Lemoyce, chill, and was that Michael Eric Dyson, I think his name is, the Beige Bama. Listen to this.
I am joined by Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. He's been talking to us tonight about everything from religion to pop culture. Doc, I got to ask you a little bit about politics as well. We were just talking about the blogosphere and the role of social media. It seems to me that there's a whole universe out there that gets its politics from social media as well. And in that space, people like Candace Owens have become giants. In that space, we see a kind of Black Republican movement. We see folks.
What is the Black Republican movement? What are they talking about here? Because this is code speak. When they talk about this quote unquote Black Republican movement, they're not talking about Blexit. They're not talking about blacks for Trumps. Y'all know who they talking about. They talking about us. Because we don't support these Democrat shills, these vote blue, no matter who morons. They're just going to come up with a mislabeling. Tricks that they learned from the media. Listen more.
Who don't believe the world is round. I mean, all this stuff operates. I mean, it seems like there's a whole other community of knowledge that didn't exist before. Is it dangerous?
Oh, man, it's dangerous. You brilliantly summed it up. It's extremely dangerous. And speaking of...
So expecting something, I want you guys to understand what the Beige Bandit just said. Understand what the Beige Bussy Bandit just said. Triple B. You know what I'm saying? Basically, what he's saying is expecting something for your vote and not just supporting a party that uses you as a mascot and then provides policy and protection for everybody else is dangerous. Here's the question. Dangerous to who? You ask me, it's dangerous to you. It's dangerous to people like Mark Lamoist Hill. It's dangerous for people like Michael Eric Dyson. And the reason why it's dangerous for clowns like them is because now they don't have anybody to talk to, because nobody's listening to their nonsense, because they support the machine. And the problem is that everybody is now raging against the machine. So now you don't have anybody that's going to listen to you anymore. So it's dangerous for your paycheck. It's not dangerous for us. This is the most safe thing that we've done, in my opinion, in a very long time. You know, basic stuff like vote for policies instead of voting for appearances, instead of voting for celebratory nonsense, instead of voting for symbolism. People are starting to get more privy of politics, and that puts these guys in a hot seat. That puts these guys in the we're not going to have a job soon line. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man, Mike Mellis John. Yeah, they definitely sending out dog whistles. So now, if you ask me, this is the kind of stuff that they cook up at those quote unquote Biden think tanks, because we got to keep putting in politicians like Jim Clyburn if this thing is going to work. We got to keep putting in Supreme Court justices like Ketanji Brown Jackson if this thing is going to work. We got to keep putting in people like Kamala Harris as vice president if this thing is going to work. Not a mad. As many times as Mark Lamoist Hill has been fired and moved from network to network, how does he even have a job? Why does anybody even still listen to him? No one does. He's just a voice that's perpetuated by WS Media, which the problem is now the movement that's going on social media, the movement that's going on YouTube, movements that are going on TikTok, movements that are going on Twitter are now starting to be louder than what the WS Media can provide shills like this. And when the playing grounds are equal, guess what? No one wants to hear you guys. Like I said, my tiny channel that I have outperformed the Black News channel, which is why it doesn't exist anymore. My tiny channel. Now, I want you guys to pay very close attention to them, right? They're talking to each other as if they're the only people that have functioning brains, the only people that have an education, and the only people that are capable of thought. And how dare anybody else stray away from what we're told. Well, I'll tell you one thing. You don't dominate the world by doing what you're told. You dominate the world by telling everybody else what to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's been a while now, but we telling clowns like this to get gone.
A misinterpretation. I'll say Kobe and I'll say Jesus is Lord. So what's interesting is so what's interesting is that what I was hinting at when I said,
no, what's his degree in, Jay? What's his degree in? Make sure you guys show some love to the Iraq-Afghanistan vet that just subscribed. Drop some radiation emojis for him. And if you guys haven't smashed the like button, make sure you guys smash the like button. And also make sure you guys help your boy out by sharing the video out. Okay?
like the Black Trumpism, I know that's kind of extreme and exaggerated, but it ain't really that exaggerated, because what's happening here is that we're giving up on traditional ways of knowing the world, which were themselves already shot through with all kinds of—
What is traditional ways of knowing the world? That's what I want to know. Traditional ways of knowing the world. What are the traditional ways of knowing the world that these two might be talking about? I think what they're talking about are worldviews that endanger their paychecks. What is that? Vote blue, no matter who. Listen to Reverend Al Sharpton. Make sure you only watch Democrat media. Don't compare policies. Do what you're told. Only expect butter biscuits instead of actual tangible assets or tangible policies. Have self-respect. Carry yourself like a human being. Is that what he's talking about? Is what he's talking about is possibly an expansion and a completion of what these fools left off on and failed at? Is that what he's talking about? Not selling out, investing in yourself, coming up with your own infrastructure so that you can be as detached from the WS infrastructure as you can possibly be, so you don't have to be linked to a machine like him. Is that what he's talking about? I think that's what he's talking about. Yeah, people's worldview has changed because the world keeps turning and time keeps moving. And as time moves, people evolve. People don't de-evolve, people evolve. And nobody's listening to this garbage no more. Shout out to PD Chicago B1. Nobody's listening to this trash anymore. You know what I'm saying? And these dudes are on their last dying breath. They hooked up to a ventilator. They got the feed tube pumping life into them. And they're grasping for air with the little tiny muscles that they have in between their ribs. But there's none there. The whole thing is sinking. It's over for these clowns. They can't get anybody to listen to them. The only way that they get anybody to listen to them is because of the people that work for the tech companies, the people that work for Facebook, the people that work for YouTube, that do things like throttle people's accounts, suppress content. Because it's very important for people like Mark Lemoyne Schill and people like Michael Eric Dyson to have some assistance with what people are allowed to think and what people are allowed to feel. It doesn't matter now. The floodgates are open. The information highway, both lanes are open for business. And nobody's about to sit here and listen to this garbage. And another thing nobody's going to do is nobody's going to sit here and continue to be disrespected as if any one of us, me or any of you guys in the chat, is not one of these morons' intellectual equivalent. No one's dealing with that kind of disrespect anymore. It's 2023. These guys may as well close their own casket.
Kind of contradictions and problems. But the difference is if you're getting your news from social media. Now, if social media is the delivery mechanism to download the Washington Post or the Nation or the Guardian or whatever progressive or conservative magazine you happen to be reading. That's one thing where they vetted these ideas, where journalists have been journalists and tried to look at trying to be as fair as possible. But you ain't got none of that kind of constraint going on.
Let me ask you guys a question. What's the history of journalists being as fair as possible? What I find fascinating is this beige bozo coming out saying this right after we're watching the unfair journalism. If you compare between what went on with Kanye West, Kyrie Irving, and Whoopi Goldberg versus the media blackout of what happened when Dana White blacked out on his wife. But we're sitting here talking about truth and integrity in the media. In what media? In what media is the question?
In the world of the blogosphere. For instance, a Black woman was claiming that a white professor at the University of Idaho, I think it was responsible for the death of those 4 students at the University of Idaho. And 2 days later, they arrested a young man who was a PhD student in criminology at the University of Washington, not 10 miles from there. Now we don't know. Maybe this blogger has some deep inside knowledge that this professor was involved, but the professor has now sued her, saying you can't just make stuff up in the
you can't just tell people I killed 4 people, right? Like,
but
so now here's the thing, right? How many channels are there on YouTube, right? Now, this is Michael Eric Dyson, somebody that's supposed to be in academia. Shout out to Tammy. What up with it, Tammy? Somebody that's supposed to be in academia, right? He's talking about some person who made some claims about this Idaho serial killer, right? How many channels are there on YouTube? How many influencers are there on TikTok? How many influencers are there on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram? Out of all of those subscribers, how many are getting sued on a regular basis for putting out misinformation? A large majority or a very, very small minority? Which one? So you got Michael Eric Dyson sitting up here making this statement as if this is the norm and this is his intellectual flex. Look at his eyes. Look at him. You guys see this dude's face right here? Look at his face. I want y'all to get a good look at that face. He don't even believe his own nonsense. Look at that. He looked like a damn gremlin in the microwave after midnight. After he said all this nonsense, sitting up there looking like that. Oh, I just let something loose in my pants. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Janesta for rejoining the membership. Make sure you guys drop some radiation emoji and show her some love. And for anybody that would like to support the channel through the membership, it's only 99 cents. Help your boy out. Look at his face. I want y'all to take a good look at his face. Get some screenshots. Now tell me that face wouldn't go well with a straitjacket. Now, you see Mark Lemoy's chill on the other side. I don't think anything straight belongs in a description of him. But look at your boy over here. Crazy face made suddenly.
Going down. Oh, I know it. You won't prevail against me. So my point is, yes, it's dangerous. And that is more, that kind of extremes. People go, oh, we know about that. But no, it's the same thing. It's the same principle that regulates the distribution of knowledge and the assignment of the priority of what is higher or lower in the hierarchy. So when you're putting up higher stuff, I mean, it used to be it was bad. Oh my God, they're getting their news from Jon Stewart. Now that looks like I wish Jon Stewart was there to give him
Cronkite. He's like Walter Cronkite now compared to what we're dealing with. Does that frustrate you as an intellectual and as a professor? Because suddenly you're in the same room with someone who doesn't read books. You're in the
Now listen, pay very close attention to Mark Lemoy's shill. As he throws shade, I want to see if you guys can identify who he's talking about. So he says you're in the room with somebody who doesn't read books. We know he's talking about Kanye West right there. As he goes through the shadiness, list who he's talking about.
You can stop without saying
right. Who doesn't read exactly. And so and to the public, there's no difference. So on the one hand, you're put next to someone who might have a PhD, say in finance, or just hypothetically, who doesn't read about black folk. But
who is he talking about? He about to say the name already, but you see what they're doing?
But calls himself a black scholar, we'll call him Boyce.
Okay, so let's just say he is talking about Dr. Boyce Watkins, right? And people may feel how they feel about Dr. Boyce Watkins, but what Dr. Boyce Watkins can say is that Dr. Boyce Watkins does have academic credentials to be able to have these conversations, right? So, I mean, here's my question. If we're talking about finances, why would we not listen to somebody who was a finance professor? Why would we not do that? Why would we listen to you two? Yeah, facts, Cameron.
Right. And then you got the person who just Googles stuff, right? Then you got the person who just makes stuff up and who's just engaged in kind of demagoguery, right? Then you got the white person pretending to be black on the internet with a fake profile pic. And all these people are in the same room and y'all are
a white person on the internet pretending to be black with a fake profile picture. He wouldn't be talking about Talcum X now, would he? He wouldn't be talking about Talcum X now, would he? Because that's who comes to mind, right?
Having a debate about whether a vaccine works. You're having a debate about, the origins of civilization. You're having a debate about, God's sake, Willie Lynch, like it's 1992, right? And all this stuff is happening in a space, and people can't tell the difference between you and them.
It is astonishing. You've summed it up so powerfully, and it's frustrating and it is bewildering because you said we spent years studying, reading, going to the library.
Again, look at your boy. You know what I'm saying? Somebody get your man some Narcan. Somebody get your man some Narcan. He out here like Bobby Shmurda. He tweaking. You know what I'm saying? Sit up there looking like the Cookie Monster. Everybody knows the difference between you all and the media that we listen to. Oh, he's about to get flamed up. He's about to get flamed up. Look at him bucking them eyes. He tweaking. Your boy tweaking right now, Cameron.
Where the lies are buried, figuring out how to think, looking at methodologies, taking classes about the difference between deconstruction and demythologization and the difference between Du Boisian, double consciousness and Hooksian notions of feminist pedagogy. God darn, what was the point? If the point is you can get in the room and just talk trash. I see people on Twitter debating lawyers and professionals. Oh, no, that ain't gonna happen. Gonna see what happened to Gunna. Bro, have you been to court? Do you know what it is? Now, that doesn't mean.
A lot of those people have been to court. Facts. Buck dancers and eyeball buckers united. They both need to shut up. And your boy, the Beige Bandit, man, he really needs some milk.
That we have a philosophical fallacy, a logical fallacy. The notion that because you have a PhD, therefore you can't be challenged. That ain't what we're saying. We're saying, let us get in the room and do what we do. Think, critically engage, parse, compete.
Okay, so check this out, right? He says, get in the room and let us do what we do. Let me ask you guys, what have they done? What has Michael Eric Dyson done except for write a bunch of books that nobody reads? What has Mark Lemoyce Chill done other than be on more teams than LeBron James and somehow find a way to fall out of the finals? Can't even win one. What have these guys done? What have they done significantly? I'll tell you one thing that they haven't done. They haven't cried on national televisions like their homeboy Van Jones and got a bunch of money for it, but they got a bunch of money for other things. Yeah, that's all they did. They just ran a pie hole. You know what I'm saying? Mark probably took a couple sausages in his. You know what I'm saying? That's about it. Y'all remember them toys called Mad Balls back in the day? How many of y'all remember them toys called Mad Balls? I forgot how the little Mad Balls song used to go. Like Mad Balls, go for one, go for all. Mad Balls. Y'all remember that? Tell me why Michael Eric Dyson looked like a damn mad ball.
Competing evidences, look at those facts and see what emerges of, quote, the truth. That ain't what we're doing, though. What we're doing is, like you said, we're putting people in a room, they got ideas and opinions, and they feel equally compelled, and they don't feel a sense of deference and a sense of recognition or reverence for the.
Tell me that brother don't look like a mad ball. I know I'm definitely going to be tuned into that. I'm going to definitely be tuned into that while I'm working. They about to get flamed. They about to get flamed, and right in the middle of the flaming, Professor Black Truth gonna drop his video with a crazy looking picture of Michael Eric Dyson. Probably this picture right here. You know what I'm saying?
The kind of scholarship that you and I wield. It is astonishing, and not only that, it's bewildering, but it's devastating and dangerous to the process of American democracy, I would argue.
Does it hurt your ego ever the comments that you have to read, the debates you get in where suddenly, you know, people again who may not actually
Deneen, you talking about Damon Wayans. Yeah, well, see, we get up here on CNN and philosophize and hypothesize, you know what I'm saying, about how the sun rise and the trees dies. But in your eyes, it's hard for me to communicate as what be going on in the real world, you see. And I'm contemplating on pontification while Michael Eric Dyson making these faces like he ate a whole bunch of pasta and having trouble getting out his defecation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, he sound like that motherfucker right there.
The degrees and the elitism kind of approach. I'm talking about people who simply don't know enough to be in the conversation. And when people choose them over you or me or whoever, right? I mean, is there a way do you ever take it personally?
Oh yeah, it hurts because I can't take it doggily because I'm a person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I take it canonically. You know,
one thing he talking about what he can't take. One thing that he needs to take is he need to take his ass to the dentist and get that grill fixed, man. Did you see the roof of that mouth? Look at it. Look at this. Hold on real quick. Wait a minute. We got to look at these.
And not only that, it's bewildering, but it's devastating and dangerous to the process of American democracy, I would argue.
Does it hurt your ego ever the comments that you have to read, the debates you get in where suddenly, you know, people again who may not actually measure up? And I'm not talking about the degrees and the elitism kind of approach. I'm talking about people who simply don't know enough to be in the conversation. And when people choose them over you or me or whoever, right? I mean, is there a way do you ever take it personally?
Oh yeah, it hurts because I can't take it dog.
Look at them teeth, man. Your boy looked like a damn intellectual Rottweiler or something. Look at them teeth. Moving around like a damn Rubik's Cube.
Ugly, because I'm a person. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
All that PhD and all that money that you got, and you can't afford a dental plan. His mouth is beat to hell. Now, exactly, Keith. Now, that's how you know there's nothing of quality coming out of it other than bad breath. Nothing coming out of that mouth other than bad breath. Look at Mark. Look at Mark Lamoy's Hill. He loving that face. Eric DeGrasse Tyson look like he about to hit the high note. Oh man, come on, man. Listen, I would love to have these two on my show. I'd be wearing my mask like you guys see in my profile picture because I'm sure the breath is more toxic than my channel. But I'll take these two on for a debate. You guys remember when Judge Joe Brown roasted the skin off of Mark Lamoy's shill? Bad breath, lies, and flies. Michael Eric Dyson opened his mouth up like that. A whole bunch of flies come out. It looked like the set of the movie The Mummy. All them damn flies coming out of his mouth from all of that stored up shit talk. Look at him. He reaching right now for some information because he don't know what he's talking about.
Canonically, the canine. Yeah, it hurts because you have invested your lifeblood into trying to marshal facts against white supremacists who were doing what now black people are doing on the blogosphere.
You see that? So now what he's doing is he's calling black people that don't agree with him and his talking points white supremacists. That's what he's doing. Shout out to my man TD Hip Hop Media. What's good with it, bro? If you guys ain't subscribed to my man TD Hip Hop Media's channel, make sure y'all go over there and check him out. I sent TD this link right here. I said, bro, please go in on these two clowns. Please go in on these two clowns. Do y'all remember when Michael Eric Dyson debated Jordan Peterson? Pencil neck Jordan Peterson, pencil neck drunk Jordan Peterson, and got lit up. Shout out to my man JV Easy. Hey, you guys make sure y'all ready. Tomorrow, TD about to roast these two clowns. He about to roast these two clowns. Michael Eric Dyson got the Medicaid glasses on, telling everybody else what we need to do. I don't know why this banner down here says Michael Eric Dyson on politics. What it should say is Michael Eric Dyson on narcotics, because the brother looked like he on the narcotic.
What black people are doing on the blogosphere is what white supremacists did 50 years ago. Make up stuff, don't read no books, project their own ideology, look at their...
Listen here, young buck. He sounded like Jerome on Martin. Listen here now, young buck. This is what white folk used to do on the blogosphere 50 years ago. They used to sit up here and talk all this bullshit. Talking all that bullshit, just pussyfooting around every damn thing. These young bucks don't know nothing. Man, if you don't shut your Droopy the dog looking ass up. And I should have known. I didn't know where this video came from, but now I see the G down here. The G for the griot. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm not mistaken, isn't Byron Allen involved with the griot? So you get all of these upper echelon soft wheat bread brothers, you know what I'm saying, all together in the same atmosphere, just coming up with nonsense to keep the money flowing into their businesses and into their pockets and keeping it away from where it needs to be, which is us.
Their frailty, fragility, and fear, and project that onto you. Dog, the blogosphere, the social media is a kind of algorithmic approximation of white supremacist bigotry 60 years ago. And so when you think about it, God darn.
He think he did something. He think he did something. He think he did something. Where TD at? He think he did something suddenly. He dropped some facts suddenly. Yeah, Jerome in the house. Come here, boy. Let me ask you a question real quick. This is the only piece of information that Michael Eric Dyson can help me out with. Where is your neck? What happened to it? Where is it at? Because what he has is a head that comes out of his chest with no neck. Yeah, Academy Plebiscite Row. Fact, this is Plebiscite TV. Yeah, he's sitting up there trying to actually sound like an actual jive turkey. He actually trying to sound like a jive turkey, but a cool one though. Yeah, see, what I do is, I go on these shows and then I get my intellectual flows. You know what I mean? I try to tell the brothers to act like men's and tell the sisters not to be hoes. Man, if you don't go somewhere and shut your ass up and sit down with this BS, it don't matter how much you rhyme. It don't matter how faded you look. For real talk, man. And being that I'm a light-skinned brother, I can say this kind of stuff. Michael Eric Dyson looks like he was stonewashed. Like somebody just threw him in the washing machine with the hot water all the way on and a half a bottle of bleach. Bruh, go outside and get some sunlight and get some air, please. Please. You look like you've been starched.
It's an unjust game. So yeah, it hurts because I'm trying to defend people, and then people come up to me and Dr. So-and-so, just call me Michael. That's good, because God darn, you got all these people with these self-anointed doctorates and stuff, and these Hotep hooligans who are out here, marshaling and manufacturing.
I think that I think that might have been a shot at TD. The Hotep hooligan thing. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. I think that might have been a shot at TD. You know what I'm saying? The world is correct hooligans. You know what I'm saying? Might have been a shot.
Facts and acting like they're doing what they do. And I'm saying, like, bro, let me just sit in my study, write my books, and do what I got to do. And hopefully the cycle comes back around. It's a merry-go-round. So hopefully our turn comes again where facts, where study, where scholarship, where serious engagement are involved. And here's the irony. People like you and me and Cornel West and Bell Hooks before, with him, and Skip Gates.
I don't know what just happened there, but I want to show you guys something, okay? Because somebody actually referenced old boy from the Young Turks, all right? Somebody actually referenced old boy from the Young Turks, and I think you guys should know something about him. Okay, so give me a second. And while you guys are giving me a second, if you guys haven't, smash that like button. Make sure you guys smash that like button. And then we'll get right back into what we're doing. Okay. So I think it was Cameron, right? Let me see. Yeah, it was Cameron. Let me see. Where's Cameron's comment at? He said, old boy looks like dude from Young Turks. All right. And this is how you know that I'm not lying. Okay. Because I was actually watching a live stream and somebody said this about the guy from the Young Turks. Give me a second. I'm about to show it to you guys in a second. Hold on real quick. What's going on here? Oh, well, you know what? Doesn't look like it's working. Let's try it one more time. Let me see. Your computer, you have no slides. Upload. Oh, StreamYards is garbage. Everybody put a thumbs down in the comment section for StreamYards. You got to do a whole bunch of extra stuff. I got to get this file prepared. I thought I could just show it as a picture, but apparently I can't. So let's get back to this, talking about these files on Joe Biden. But I guarantee you, that stuff that we just saw, that's the kind of stuff that goes on at the Biden think tank. Because I don't know if you guys saw Phil Scott's podcast recently, but he was talking about how the Democrats are worried that Black people are voting for Republicans in higher numbers. They're losing their ground. You know what I'm saying? They're losing their ground. So they're doing anything. They're trying the old shaming tactics to see if that works. They're bringing out all of the bootlicks to see if that works. They're doing everything that they can. They're trying to delegitimize all of the information that anybody can get from anywhere, when we're getting most of our information from the same sources that they're allegedly supposed to be reporting on or reporting from. The GOP has been energized by discovery of Biden classified documents. Now, how many people knew that Biden classified documents had been discovered? If you guys knew about that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't know, give me a thumbs down. The revelation of classified documents found in a private office building belonging to Joe Biden in between his time as vice president and president has energized the new House Republican majority, which was already poised to launch a multitude of Biden administration-related investigations. That's also fueled arguments about the politicization of government agencies, as the House GOP, which is getting a slow start to organizing after a prolonged speaker battle, is set to create a select subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government. Now, I'm going to ask you guys a question that I think I already know the obvious answer to. Do you all feel that the federal government has been weaponized? And if so, how? And against whom? Let me know what you guys think. The GOP immediately started making comparisons between the discovery of the Biden documents and the FBI search of former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago property as a part of a wider probe involving Trump's potential mishandling of documents after leaving the White House, despite there being already a handful of differences based on what is known so far about each case. The FBI conducted a raid on former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence for the same violation. Representative James Comer, who is a Republican from Kentucky and the chair of the House Oversight Committee, said on the House floor during a debate over resolution to create the Select Committee on Tuesday. Why has President Biden, who has repeatedly kept classified materials in an unsecure location for years, never faced a raid? Is it because we have a two-tiered system of justice? Now, okay, if we're talking about this two-tiered system of justice when it comes to Democrats and Republicans, and we're going to act like we're playing this fake game, then there has to be a three-tiered system of justice, because there's the Democrat system of justice, the Republican system of justice, and then the system of justice that both the Republicans and the Democrats weaponize against Black people, which they'll both deny at every turn, but we can show limitless evidence that it actually exists. You know what I'm saying? The White House, for the first time on Monday, disclosed that a small number of classified documents were found in a University of Pennsylvania office Biden used in Washington on November 2nd of 2022, just days before the crucial midterm elections. So now the thing with this is for one, where did Biden get these documents from? When did Biden get these documents? And why were they at the University of Pennsylvania? Absolutely. I agree 100%, PD Chicago. Yes, against FBA to keep us in a chokehold financially and population-wide. Super facts. If you guys agree with PD Chicago B1, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, give me a thumbs down and state your case. So now here it says attorneys for Biden altered the National Archives and the materials were turned over the following morning, according to Biden's counsel. The White House said it is cooperating with the Department of Justice review of the documents. So now, again, when it comes to the Department of Justice reviewing something that went on from a president, that's the same as the Internal Affairs investigating something that goes on with the police department. That's like friend investigating friend. So regardless of what actually happened, nothing's going to get done about it. How long have people been whining and crying and complaining about Trump? What's been done about it? Nothing. How long have people been whining and crying about the Clintons, whining and crying about the Bushes? How long have people been whining and crying about corrupt American politicians? Now, here's the question. What's been done about it? What's been done about it? Nothing. And the reason why nothing's been done about it is because it's the same people doing the investigation. Conflict of interest, as always. You know what I'm saying? In comparison, Trump insisted that he and his team tried to work with the archives and that he was forthcoming about the documents he took back with him to Florida after leaving the White House. But affidavits indicate that that was not always the case. So now here's the question. If that's the case, right? If what's being said in this paragraph is true, why isn't anybody in jail? Now, we know one of the reasons why people can not be in jail is because this is all just a bunch of nonsense and it's just a play. We're just going to act like we're enacting consequences on these people when in reality, we're just making a media spectacle of it while these people run around and do whatever it is that they want to, which is what you see being done with Dana White. None of these people who are quote unquote corrupt, they never sling enough mud on any of these people to get anybody put in jail. Do you guys notice that? Now, let you start calling for somebody to be put in jail and see what happens. Nobody's going anywhere because it's all a game. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed that like button, please make sure you guys take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon twice, and also make sure you guys subscribe to my backup channels. And also, like I said, as soon as I'm off papers on BLR1, we're having a turn-up stream. It's going to be fun. The 4K celebration. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, still, that didn't stop Republicans from casting Biden's document discovery as something as just, if not more serious than Trump's. I just think it goes to prove that what they tried to do to President Trump overplayed their hand on that, and they even had themselves even longer. Speaker Kevin McCarthy told reporters on Monday evening, according to Fox News. The new select subcommittee housed under the House Judiciary Committee is being created in part to fulfill a request from those who withheld support from McCarthy for Speaker to have a church-style investigation of intelligence agencies in reference to a 1970s Senate panel that probed civil liberties violations by the intelligence community. Now, look at this. They're just now acting on something that went down in the 1970s. Oh, Ari is absolutely MIA, just like his lips. Ari and his lips are MIA on the Dana White situation. So now here it says incoming House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan had already been working on probes of the FBI and the DOJ, but the new panel will give him increased latitude, including the ability to investigate ongoing criminal investigations. And again, I mean, this sounds nice, but we got to remember that when it comes to the Democrats and the Republicans, all of these guys are friends. They all break bread together. The only time that they're fighting is they're fighting about who's going to get more money. They're not fighting about anything fundamentally wrong. They're not fighting about anything ideologically incorrect. They're not fighting about corruption. All of that is just a smokescreen. And what it is it's a smokescreen to cover their collaborative efforts. Because if you guys don't believe that there's collaborative efforts for certain initiatives between the Democrats and the Republicans, you are very mistaken. Because that's all they do is work together. You know what I'm saying? Facts. Congrats on 4K. Next step, 10K. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, and it's just not hardline conservatives who are in support of the panel. There's a large segment of Americans who's lost confidence. I don't think the rank and file of these organizations, but with the senior leadership. And I think it doesn't hurt to put sunlight on what's going on and see if there's really an issue, said Representative Don Bacon, a member of the bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus who represents a district Biden won in 2020. Bacon added that the revelation of classified documents in Biden's office is a data point saying why it needs to be done. Beyond the new select subcommittee, the Biden documents are also helping to kick other House GOP committees into high gear. Incoming House Intelligence Chair Mike Turner sent a letter to the FBI Director Avril Haines on Tuesday requesting a review of the classified information discovered, along with a damage assessment. This discovery of classified information would put President Biden in potential violation of laws protecting national security, including the Espionage and Presidential Records Act, Turner said. So again, it sounds like some pretty serious stuff, right? Here's the question. What do you guys think is actually gonna happen? Yeah, facts, BD or PD. Ari opted out of doing an op-ed on his breadwinner. Super facts. Super facts. He's under a rock somewhere, probably sniffing some too. House Oversight Chairman Comer also sent letters to the National Archives and the White House Counsel Office on Tuesday requesting documents and communications relating to the classified material, as well as information about the documents themselves and who may have had access to them. It appears both Biden and Trump may have failed to follow the Presidential Records Act, which requires presidents and vice presidents to turn over documents to the archives for secure storage. So now, again, if we're looking at this and we look at Biden and we look at Trump and we look at every other president who's ever been involved in this, nothing's going to happen. So again, this is the same kind of fake outrage story that we're dealing with when it comes to the whole Dana White nonsense. Super facts, DIY Queen. Nothing's going to happen to nobody. Nothing's going to happen to nobody white. Wasting our time. Yeah, super facts. Super facts. Now, if this was Clarence Thomas, it'd be a wrap. As comfortable as Clarence Thomas thinks that he is, or if this was Ben Carson, as comfortable as Ben Carson thinks that he is, man, they would have got their N-word wake-up calls real quick. They would have had them in a jail faster than anybody could blink their eye. Carlton said we got a better chance of getting reparations than getting a president locked up. Facts. Super facts. All this is just a smokescreen. Now, people always ask that question, or people always say, well, this is just a distraction. This is just a distraction. Why are we talking about this? This is just a distraction. Well, this shit right here is a distraction. You know what I'm saying? This right here is your distraction. But what's funny is that when you go online and you look at content and you look at commentary, there's literally nobody online calling this a distraction when this is the actual distraction right here. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the Justice Department revealed last year that it was investigating Trump for possible violations of the Espionage Act, according to a search warrant that showed authorities were authorized to seize any documents or records with classified markings or related to the transmission of national defense information or classified material. While the U.S. Attorney in Chicago, a Trump appointee, is reviewing the documents found in Biden's former office, no such investigation is known to exist against the current president. So there's a question for you guys. Why not? How come nobody's investigating this when it comes to Biden? How does Biden always get out of this stuff? Now, I got an even better question for you. What information do you guys think was actually in those classified documents? What was in there? What was he hiding? What was in that dusty box, in that dirty roach-infested office at the University of Pennsylvania? What was in there? Jordan, who is also expected to chair the new subcommittee, did not have an immediate plan of action soon after learning about the Biden documents on Monday night, saying that he needs to learn more about what is in them. And I think we all do. But he pointed out that while the president can declassify documents, a vice president cannot, alluding to arguments from Trump's lawyers that claimed he had declassified materials found at Mar-a-Lago. It is unknown, however, what, if any, protocols to declassify documents was followed. Now, that's interesting. And honestly, if you ask me, that right there is what they should be looking at. How is it that they don't know what the protocol is or what happened? Superfax, PD. Make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? The Supreme Court's pretty clear that only the president can declassify documents. So if there were classified documents when you know Joe Biden was vice president, that's a huge issue, Jordan said. And that right there makes complete sense. And so that's how you get the difference between what Trump did versus what Biden did. Again, I'm going to read this. The Supreme Court's pretty clear that only the president can declassify documents. So if there were classified documents when you know Joe Biden was vice president, that's a huge issue. Remember, these are documents that were found from Joe Biden's vice presidency. A lot of stuff going on here. The other thing that's interesting, frankly, is that they knew about this a week before the election. And we're just now hearing about it now. Let me ask you guys a question. Had you all heard about this before now? They knew about this a week before the election. We're just now hearing about it. But now let me ask you guys this. Had you said anything about it before the election, would your content have been allowed to stay up? Because you guys remember what they did to the Hunter Biden story. So now let's just say, for instance, some information about this did come out and some efficient journalists actually did a story about it. Would the content have been allowed to stay up? Would anybody have actually been allowed to report this at all? Probably not. Probably not. Because we saw what happened to all negative information that came out about Biden before the election. Twitter removed it. Facebook removed it. YouTube flagged it. How's that work? It works something like this. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the American people should have known about it, Jordan added. They certainly knew about the raid on Mar-a-Lago 91 days before the election. Most Democrats seemed to rally quickly behind the president, noting the sharp distinction between how Biden handled the discovery of the documents and how Trump had stonewalled the efforts to retrieve the Mar-a-Lago documents for months, according to investigators. This is Republican hypocrisy at its finest, said Representative Pete Aguilar, chairman of the House Democratic Caucus. When the former president had 320 documents found at his personal residence, they said that will not be a priority. But some are waiting for more details to emerge and emphasize the need for transparency in order to blunt the GOP attacks of a double standard. I'm not trying to have a snap judgment on this, but let's get all the information out there. Let's be very transparent about it because we don't want to suggest a double standard, said Representative Jared Huffman. My hope would be that if somebody screwed up, they need to just own it and not make up stories and lousy evasive narratives like we heard from Trump and his lawyers. Listen, when it comes to our entire government, from the left and from the right, from the Democrats and from the Republicans, that's all we ever hear are evasive narratives. When Joe Biden was asked about reparations, he literally sat there and gave an evasive narrative. Well, this is a country built on immigrants, really? What immigrants built the country? You know what I'm saying? But that's Joe Biden. That's the Democrats. That's the dual party hypocrisy that we have to deal with. Huffman acknowledged that the timing would fuel the Republicans' push for a special committee on government weaponization, but they will use whatever they can get, he added. I just think Democrats have to be really careful not to project a double standard. I think we want to see full transparency and accountability. And if somebody made a mistake, then just own it and let's move on, Huffman said. I don't think anybody's going to own anything. And honestly, if you ask me, as interesting as this sounds and as juicy as this is, to me, all it is a news story. That's it. I think that all they're going to do is just float this in the news all over the place, and nothing is going to get done. Shout out to Abby. What's up with it, Abby? Yeah, I want to too, Deneen. Suddenly. You know what I'm saying? So check this out. Classified documents found in Biden's post-VP office. This is what we know. And anytime the media comes out with an article and says this is what we know, you already know they know more than this. Y'all know they know more than this. This is just what they telling us. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't need a PhD like, you know, Mark Lemoyce Chill or Michael Eric Dyson to figure that out, right? There goes your boy right there. Deneen wants to sock him. The White House revealed on Monday that it is working with the Justice Department and the National Archives and Records Administration after a quote-unquote small number of classified Obama-era documents were found in an office Joe Biden used at a think tank in Washington before his presidency. Okay? Here's the question that I want to know. How are they just now finding this stuff? It's 2023. You mean to tell me this stuff was just sitting in a dusty desk somewhere in an office building, not touched at all, and they just now found it now? Really? We're supposed to believe that? They don't have housekeeping. They didn't buy new furniture. The room was never cleaned up. Seriously? How does something just sit there for that long? If you guys agree with 9 Nickels, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. 9 Nickels says, somebody been had them documents. I got to agree with that. Somebody had to have them. And honestly, I think somebody had them and they put them there. I don't think that that's the original storage location of them at all, if you ask me. But again, this is just speculation on my behalf, on my part. This is just speculation. But you got to ask, why is this not all over the mainstream media? Though there are significant differences between this situation and the recovery of classified documents from Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence, former President Trump and his allies questioned why Biden's homes haven't been raided by the FBI and said it's proof of a double standard for conservatives. Here, what we know so far. So, you know what I'm saying? They forgot to put the is in, but that's okay. What was found in Biden's old office? We about to look and see what it is that was found in Biden's old office. The classified materials were found in Biden's old office at the Penn Biden Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement in Washington on November 2nd, 2 days before the midterms. Now, again, here's my question, y'all. Why is this story just now coming out? They found this stuff 2 days before the midterms. Here's another question for you guys. If we just now hearing about this, what other stories are out there that have happened months ago that we have no idea took place? And why don't we know about them? This is an old story coming out like it's new. You know what I'm saying? They were discovered by the president's personal lawyers who were packaging up the office space he used periodically from mid-2017 after he served as vice president until he launched his presidential campaign in 2020. Sources told CBS News, which broke the story on Monday night, that roughly 10 documents were found in the office. The outlet reported the documents were contained in a folder that was in a box with other unclassified papers, the sources said. The sources revealed neither what the documents contain nor their level of classification. So they haven't said anything about what they found. A source familiar with the matter told CBS News the documents did not contain nuclear secrets. I mean, can we get any other information about them? They've been sitting on this story for 2 months. And this is all they can tell us. Right, Deneen, exactly. They're just now packaging up. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please make sure you guys take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't shared the stream, please make sure you guys share the stream to your social media. Why are we just now hearing about this? Here's the question. Who was suppressing the story? The government or the media? That's a question that we should be asking. Who put the order out not to talk about this? Because now we know what doesn't get talked about. Somebody puts an order out and says, well, don't talk about this. So who put the order out to not talk about this? Somebody did. Somebody did it. You know what I'm saying? So who was it that did it? You know what I'm saying? That's the question. So check this out. The documents are dated between 2013 and 2016. So these are old documents. They just now found them. And they were found in 3 or 4 boxes that also contain unclassified materials that fall under the Presidential Records Act. There are special rules for handling classified documents, and under the Presidential Records Act, the president and vice president are required to turn over all documents from their tenure to the National Archives. But what you know what I get from these stories? If you ask me, what I get from these stories when it comes to talking about Trump and when it comes to talking about Biden is that all presidents steal some papers that they're not supposed to have after they get out of office. So when it comes to national security is actually non-existent because the presidents just take whatever it is that they want to, and the only time it ever comes out is if they get caught, and if they get caught by the right people. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Richard Schauber, special counsel to the president, confirmed that the documents were found on November 2nd and said the White House's counsel office notified the National Archives the same day. The next day, the documents were turned over to the National Archives, which then notified the Justice Department. All right, so the Justice Department was notified on November 3rd. It's January 11th. Yeah, everybody got sticky fingers. Everybody got sticky fingers. That's what I get from this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, nothing is going to happen to any of these people. You know what I'm saying? This is just all a bunch of hoopla and nonsense. A source told CBS News that, look at this, Biden does not know what the documents contain, and that he only learned that there were classified documents in his old office when attorneys notified the White House counsel office. This doesn't make any sense at all. So how did they get there? Who knew to put them there? And why were they there? Biden is saying he doesn't know anything about it. How did they get in your office then? How did they get in the office? Are you serious? Are we really about to do this right now? A source told CBS News that Biden does not know what the documents contain, and that he only learned that there were classified documents in his old office when his attorneys notified the White House counsel's office. How did they get there, and why were they there then, and why did anybody move them from their original location? Facts, he's lying. Right, Jay, the Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus, or somebody put him there. If y'all agree with DIY Queen, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. I agree with DIY Queen. He lying. And shout out to Janesta for answering the Nightbot. Appreciate it. How has the government responded? If you ask me, they haven't. The only people that have responded have been the media, and the media response is done to make it look like there's a government response. They just formed a bunch of different committees, and they're going to sit around drinking coffee and eating donuts, and that's going to be about it. That's going to be about it. Shout out to my man Cole. What up with it, bro? Abby said, let's be real. That old man probably forgot he left him there. He's ancient and demented as hell. Yeah. You know what? I think that a little bit of that is an act. I think a little bit of that is an act. If you guys agree with TD that the Nightbot should shut up, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. You got to be careful about that Nightbot, TD. The Nightbot can be vicious. You know what I'm saying? It might mess around and do something to you now. If we don't hear TD, you know what I'm saying, type anything in the comments for a minute, we know what happened to him. You know what I'm saying? The Nightbot bucked up. So now here it says the Justice Department has launched a review of the Biden documents. Attorney General Merrick Garland assigned John R. Losh Jr., the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, to oversee the process. Losh is one of only 2 Trump-nominated U.S. attorneys who are still serving. According to the Washington Post, the FBI is also involved in the review. Losh has already briefed Garland, and the review is expected to wrap up soon. After that, the Attorney General will decide whether any further steps, such as appointing a special counsel, are necessary. Now, here's the thing that I want to ask you guys. If Merrick Garland, right? If Merrick Garland is the one that's supposed to be doing this internal investigation, ain't nothing about to happen. Exactly, DIY Queen. Nothing's happening. That's like if Hunter Biden did the damn investigation. So now you guys understand why nobody ever goes to jail. Because you have friends investigating friends. And let's just keep it 100. Who's going to lock up their friends? Ain't nobody about to lock up their friends. Everybody wants to keep the money flowing. Everybody wants to keep a paycheck. So nobody's going to lock up their friends. That's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? They're going to make it look like an investigation took place. They're going to write a couple questionable news articles to make it look like there's actually a reason to be suspicious. And then that's going to be the end of it. We're not going to hear anything more. Maybe we might hear something more in a year or two or something like that. They might revisit this. That's going to be it. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the documents were not the subject of any previous request or inquiry by the archives, said Sauber, special counsel to Biden. Since that discovery, the president's personal attorneys have cooperated with the archives and Department of Justice in a process to ensure that any Obama-Biden administration records are appropriately in the possession of the archives. So pay very close attention to this, right? Because what they're doing is they're making it look like cooperation after the fact erases the fact that he did something wrong. That's like if I decide to go on a killing spree, right? I'm going to just off a bunch of people. I'm going to just go delete a whole bunch of folks. Then I get taken into custody. And once I got the handcuffs on me and I'm in the back of the police car, I tell the officers, you know what? I'm going to stop this. I just decided that I'm not going to be a killer anymore. I'm going to go get a job at Target. And for the rest of my life, I'm just going to work and be a good, hardworking citizen. And they say, you know what? We support you in those efforts. And they take the cuffs off and drive me to Target so I can put in an application. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The reason why the archives is asking you about those papers in the office is because you did something wrong. Cooperation after the fact doesn't exonerate you from the original act, but pay very close attention to how the article is being written to make you think that. You know what I'm saying? These are the tricks of the media. These are the media mind tricks. It's just like Dana White. Listen, I won't slap the dog crap out of my wife when I get drunk anymore. You know what? He's pledged a commitment to reform. Let's just leave him alone. Where they do that at? We'll find out more once he died suddenly. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Facts. You know, as slow as there's nothing sudden happening with Joe Biden, though, as slow as he is. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that probably happens with Joe Biden is his underwear are suddenly dirty. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, that's probably about it. There's nothing sudden going on with his slow ass. You know what I'm saying? So now this asks the question, how is this different from Trump's documents scandal? It appears that both Biden and Trump violated the Presidential Records Act and had in their possession classified records that should have been with the National Archives. But here are some key differences. So far, it seems Biden had fewer than a dozen classified documents, while more than 300 classified materials were removed from Mar-a-Lago. So you know how Trump is. If you're going to do something, do it big. You know what I'm saying? Biden had 12, 13 papers. Trump had like apparently a whole damn U-Haul full. So, there's that. That's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? While both presidents may have mishandled classified documents, the Trump investigation, which is now being handled by special counsel Jack Smith, involves potential obstruction of justice. At this point, it appears Biden is complying fully with investigators. So the thing that's different is Trump is being Trump, and Biden is like, yeah, go ahead. You guys can go ahead and investigate. That's the only difference. These are the only differences here. Yeah, they'll open the files 50 years from now, Jay. Will Dana be told to go on an apology tour? You know what they said? Dana's flight back from Mexico is his apology tour. When he comes back to the United States, the flight from Cabo back to the United States, that's the extent of his apology tour. Abby said that Biden seemed more like a cat hoarder. I don't think he hoarded any cats because his sons probably would have got him high. You know how kids be doing that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, as Sauber noted, the National Archives hadn't requested these documents from Biden. So again, who cares that they hadn't requested them? He wasn't supposed to. See, the reason why they say stuff like this is to downplay that he did something wrong. So like, this adds no value to anything other than just trying to confuse you. Well, they hadn't requested these papers or anything like that. That's like if I off somebody, right? I mean, the person wasn't important anyway. It was just somebody else. It was just another social security number. I mean, who cares? I just happened to off this person. It wasn't the president. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the mayor. It wasn't nobody. Just pop. You know what I'm saying? Went on about my business. It don't matter, right? Of course it mattered. I still broke the law. Murder is illegal. And so is this. But this is what we got to do. As we write these stories in the media, we have to write supporting content to downplay the action that was done. All kinds of justifications, facts. Biden, dirty suddenly. You know what I'm saying? Hunter Biden, high suddenly. You know what I'm saying? President Trump was winning the election. Biden is president suddenly. This suddenly stuff been going on. You know what I'm saying? C-19 was first located in Wuhan, China. Suddenly it's all over the world. You know? Everything suddenly. You know what I'm saying? I was scrolling through my phone yesterday. Had no idea TD was about to go live. Suddenly, this nigga's live. I'm like, good Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Mandela effect got it going out here. It's hard for a brother to keep up. Carlton Way, suddenly. You know what I'm saying? Did you guys hear about Brittany Griner? Her dreadlocks gone suddenly. You know what I'm saying? Right. A box turns up at Biden's old office. FBA get blamed for it suddenly. Yeah, silk gone suddenly. You know what I'm saying? Biden Jr. need Hennessy money suddenly. It's ridiculous out here, man. It's hard for a content creator to keep up. Yeah, facts. Real talk. We need that check cut suddenly. We need that hate crime bill suddenly. You know what I'm saying? That's real, Carlton. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, instead, his team quickly alerted NARA of their existence. In contrast, NARA reportedly spent more than a year trying to retrieve materials from Trump after he left office. I don't think anybody ever heard about this either. Did anybody know that for a year, the National Archives was trying to get classified documents back from Trump? Yeah, that's what happened at the beginning of the pandemic. Toilet paper gone suddenly. Facts. Bike parallel to the ground suddenly. You know what I'm saying? Fredo Bang, a dad suddenly. You know what I'm saying? It's happening quick. The information superhighway is popping. Yeah. Britney strap-on gone suddenly. What you didn't know was you thought it was a vibrator, but it was actually some Andis clippers. And she took it across her dreadlocks suddenly. Now they gone. She might look like Reggie Miller, but I don't know if she's shooting threes like him. You know what I'm saying? So now check this out. Here it says they found 184 classified documents with Trump, including 25 top secret documents and 15 boxes of materials retrieved from Mar-a-Lago in January of 2022. Months later, the Trump team turned over more than 38 classified documents in response to a grand jury subpoena, but the feds came to believe that they weren't complying fully. The Justice Department obtained a warrant to search Mar-a-Lago in August and recovered hundreds more classified documents. All we know about the Biden classified documents so far is that they supposedly covered non-nuclear topics related to Ukraine, Iran, and the United Kingdom. So now here's my question, right? How do you look at something and only know and only know certain things? If you've looked at it, then you know all of it. Facts. The juice appears out of nowhere suddenly. Then people start dropping suddenly. You know what I'm saying? Athletes on the basketball court, athletes on the football field, dropping like bird shit. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Trump reportedly had a plethora of extremely sensitive documents in his possession, including information on a foreign government's nuclear capabilities and intelligence gathered by secret human sources. I don't know what Trump plan on doing. What government nuclear secrets did he have? Trump has some whole other country's nuclear secrets. I bet it was North Korea. Facts. Shout out to Nino Brown. He said it the best. It's the American way. Facts. Nino Brown was real. Shout out to the Cash Money crew. You know what I'm saying? And the Carter. New Jack City. You know what I'm saying? As vice president, Biden did not have the power to declassify documents. As president, Trump did have broad declassification powers, but he's made dubious claims about how he exercised that right. His allies have claimed he had a standing order to declassify anything he removed from the White House, though there's no evidence of this, and his lawyers have not pursued this argument in court. At one point, Trump claimed the president can declassify even by if thinking about it. Did y'all hear your boy Trump? Listen to this crazy nonsense. At one point, Trump claimed that the president can declassify something even by thinking about it. This dude is wild, man. But that nonsensical argument is largely irrelevant, man. That's hilarious. As the New York Times noted, none of the criminal laws cited by the FBI in obtaining a warrant to search Mar-a-Lago depended on whether the documents contained classified information. So Trump says that simply by thinking about it, you can declassify FBI documents, classified documents. Did y'all know about that? Just by thinking about it. I'ma just think MK Ultra out of classification. I'ma just think COINTELPRO out of classification. I'ma just think, you know what I'm saying? Operation MK Naomi, Operation Paperclip out of existence. Man, you cannot make it up, man. You cannot make it up. Damn, you can't make this stuff up, man. So now here they say how have Republicans responded, and this is what's up. A Trump tweet. It's always entertaining when you got a Trump tweet. Unsurprisingly, in public statements, Trump and his allies have ignored the differences between Mar-a-Lago raid and the discovery of classified papers in Biden's office. In posts on Truth Social, Trump asked, when is the FBI going to raid the many homes of Joe Biden, perhaps even the White House? Then he asserted that Biden's actions are way worse than his own. Man, this is hilarious. Bruh, you can't make this stuff up. Trump goes to his social media site that he owns, that he the only person on. Like he making a major announcement. Here it goes. Y'all ready? Wow. The Biden think tank. No, this motherfucker didn't. Look, wow. The Biden think tank is funded by China. Also, a VP cannot declassify documents, which are covered by the Federal Records Act, which is criminal, and much tougher than the Presidential Records Act, which is not criminal. A president, me, can declassify. How much more information has China been given? Donald Trump need to teach a PhD class on deflection, man. Donald Trump need to teach a PhD class on deflection, man. This dude is a pro, not a semi-pro, a pro. Man, that's hilarious. Look at this. And he's saying this to all 26.6K of his own accounts. 9.3K of his own accounts likes it. They call it retruths on his Truth Media platform that nobody's on. You know what I'm saying? So now Junior, who still apparently has a Twitter account, he says, when will the FBI hostage rescue team, look at this, the FBI's hostage rescue team storm one of Biden's many vacation homes bought and paid for somehow by a lifetime of being a humble servant. Yo, man, who do the Trumps pay to write their tweets? Who is their Twitter team? You can't make that up, man. You cannot make it up. Now, here go this person here, Ronnie Jackson. It's just been declassified that Biden had highly classified documents that were improperly stored in one of his private offices. Incredible. Where is the FBI? Where is the dramatic raid? We have two systems of justice in this country, one for them and one for us. The only problem is all of you are the them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I listen to this stuff cracking up. Like, this dude says, we have one system for us and the other system for them. The only problem is that you're all the them. What are you talking about? One for us and one for them. So now here it says Republican Representative James Cormer, the House Oversight Committee chairman, said the Biden administration has made adhering to the Presidential Records Act a top priority and that we expect the same treatment for President Biden. All right. So I think that's the end of this. Yeah, that's the end of this. And you guys already know this dude is a liar right here. I don't know why they this must just be the slideshow for liars, because they got your boy George Santos down there. You know, he's a liar-ish. You know what I mean? So they still haven't told us what was found. They haven't told us a damn thing. Now, this article that CNN has, they claim that Biden has some declassified documents related to Ukraine, related to Iran, and the UK. Yeah, exactly. Did you know, DIY Queen, that in California, the conservatives actually filed with the Supreme Court out there to be considered an ethnic group? It got struck down, but they actually filed for that. Larry Elder led the charge. Did you know that? The very people who talk about woke and the very people who talk about ethnic groups and ethnic minorities, the openly white supremacist party of the United States, begging and pleading to be looked at as a minority group. Like, you can't make it up. I ain't mad at him for trying. But it's just like, really? Yeah, you know what, real quick? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let me see. Conservatives file for affirmative action protection. Let me see. Yeah. Here, check this out right here. Look at this. I'm dead serious. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed the like button, please make sure you guys take a moment, smash that like button. All right. Also, if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Look at this big idea: affirmative action for conservatives, the very people that want it gone. Now conservatives can claim to be an oppressed and marginalized professional minority on our campuses. The evidence cited by Zimmerman seems unassailable. A very small percentage of professors at our elite institutions, always under and usually well under 10%, think of themselves as Republicans and supported Romney. That's nowhere close, of course, to the percentage of Republicans and Romney voters in the population as a whole. There's got to be some discrimination going on here, either intentional or structural. Right. Facts, TD. TD says conservatives want to be classified as people of color suddenly. You know what I'm saying? They said that the white crayon is still a crayon. The white crayon is still a crayon. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you do with the white crayon, because that was the one that never really got used, but it's still a crayon, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they got blackened suddenly, like some damn tilapia. So this is some exclusive information from CNN. U.S. intelligence materials related to Ukraine, Iran, and the UK were found in Biden's private office, a source tells CNN. Let's listen to this and see what they're talking about real quick. Hopefully they don't have too many damn commercials on this. Look at this. Of course, there it is right there. New season of nonsense. This is one of the reasons to not buy cable right here.
Materials were discovered by a lawyer for President Biden on November 2nd. We learned that they were in the process of closing out a Washington, D.C. based office that Biden used when he worked as an honorary professor from about 2017 to 2019. Now, they say they uncovered fewer than a dozen classified documents at the office, but it's unclear what they pertain to.
Why were they there so long is my question. How did the papers just sit there in the office? You mean they didn't buy no new furniture? They didn't have housekeeping come in and clean anything. They was just sitting on the drawer collecting dust. And then somebody just decided to go in there and say, oh, look at this. I found these papers. Let me call 911 real quick and let them know I found some presidential documents. Like, seriously? Really?
Or why they were in this office. Now, when these materials were discovered, the White House counsel's office notified the National Archives. They took possession of the materials, we're told, the following morning. But Attorney General Merrick Garland, he has assigned the U.S. Attorney in Chicago to review this matter and conduct a damage assessment. Now, Don, it's interesting that he is one of only 2 current Trump holdover U.S. attorneys still serving. The other is the Delaware U.S. attorney who is leading an investigation into the president's son, Hunter Biden. Now, in a statement, Biden's attorney says they are cooperating with the archives and the Department of Justice. But there's a lot more we still need to know about how these materials ended up there, how certain they are that these are the only ones, and of course, how secure were these documents while they were in this office.
Okay, so Paula, speaking of differences, can you lay out the differences between
man, then Don Lemon pops up. You know what I'm saying? Those boxes and those documents, they have something in common with me. They came out of the closet. The only thing is that, you know, my status, it wasn't classified. You know, I'm unclassified as ever. Really?
this and the Mar-a-Lago document issue?
It's a great question, Don. So based on what Biden's team is saying, they are setting up some key differences from the Trump case. The first one is just the volume of materials that we're talking about. At this point, the Biden matter, we're dealing with less than a dozen documents versus the hundreds in the Trump case. Another big difference is cooperation. Biden's lawyers say they immediately...
Trump is one of those people like, Trump is like the Michael Jordan of presidents. Like, I just got to do everything extra. I'm just about to outscore you in everything. You know what I'm saying? You corrupt? Nah, you ain't got nothing on me. You know what I'm saying? You think you stole some documents? Bro, I got a whole damn building in my damn basement in Mar-a-Lago. You think you say crazy stuff? Man, wait till you see wait till you see all them deleted tweets when Elon Musk put them back up. Like, Trump just got to outdo somebody at every damn thing. He's sitting there looking at Joe Biden like, yeah, I even got your stupid ass beat when it comes to corruption.
Cooperated, they turned over the documents they discovered, and that they continue to cooperate with the Justice Department. When it comes to Trump, there was months of back and forth where he refused and ignored the government requests and really only handed over many of the documents when subpoenas were obtained. The other big difference at this point is obstruction. Biden is not under investigation for potential obstruction. Trump is, as well as being under investigation for potential violations of the Espionage Act.
Look, Trump was obstructing justice and Biden got a bowel obstruction.
So at this point, Mar-a-Lago appears to be a much more complex investigation, a more complex set of legal issues. But Don, the Biden matter, it's only come to light in the past 24 hours, and we'll continue to report it out.
Mm-hmm. Former President Trump is also under investigation for possibly mishandling that classified information.
President Trump is also under investigation for mishandling things. You know, I had that relationship with that guy named Dustin Heiss, and you know, I actually mishandled his ball sack. So, you know, I can kind of relate to those kind of allegations and charges. And I don't know, you know, what the future holds, you know.
this is going to be politicized. I imagine it is already been politicized by those on the right and the former president. How is he reacting?
Yeah. It's politicized. I mean, this is oh my God, this is just gonna blow up all over the place. All over the place. How do you spell Plath? Is it P-L-A-T-H-E? How do you spell Plath? It's gonna blow up all over the place.
Well, the former president, he posted on his Truth Social platform asking, quote, when is the FBI going to raid the many homes of Joe Biden, perhaps even the White House? These documents were definitely not declassified. Now, that term raid, that is a term that his legal team has been chastised by a federal judge for using because he is referring to a duly executed search warrant that was carried out over the summer after information was obtained that documents were being moved. But interestingly, I spoke with a member of his legal team last night, and they think the Biden case actually helps their defense. They say, look, this just illustrates the problem with
Don Lemon like, oh, girl, I spoke to one of the people from the legal team last night, too. It wasn't Mike that you were talking to, was it?
classification in government, but they're also watching these two cases very closely. They're looking for any differences in the handling of the two probes. As they argue, the Justice Department has made the Mar-a-Lago matter more contentious than necessary. But we'll see. Again, we've been covering Mar-a-Lago for a lot longer. And Don, if it's one thing I've learned over the past 7 years of covering various very high-profile officials who may or may not have mishandled classified information, these things are never simple.
Man, they ain't even let Don Lemon get the last word. That's how far off he fell.
In the midst of chaos, he was stability.
Hold on.
Remain calm. He's just fallen so far.
There we go. I was about to say, damn, they won't even let me turn this nonsense off. There we go. Hold on, let me pause it. All right, so now here it says, among the items from Joe Biden's time as vice president discovered in a private office last fall, y'all, are 10 classified documents, including U.S. intelligence memos and briefing materials that cover topics including Ukraine, Iran, and the United Kingdom, according to a source familiar with the matter. Now, this is what I want to ask you guys. See, now we're getting somewhere. What kind of sensitive information would Biden need on Ukraine? Why would Biden have any sensitive information on Ukraine? It's not like his son had any illegal, questionable, I should say, business dealings there. It's not like we're involved in a questionable conflict with, involving Ukraine or anything, right? I mean, it's just for intelligence community purposes, right? Why would Biden be interested in documents about Ukraine? What could he possibly be looking for? DIY Queen says Burisma stuff. Energy stuff. Facts. The corruption starter kit, I bet. You know what I'm saying? Attorney General Merrick Garland has received a preliminary report on the document's inquiry, a law enforcement source said, and now faces the critical decision on how to proceed. Man, shout out to Merrick Garland. He's facing the same conundrum that Ari Emanuel is facing. How to proceed. Don't they write books about this kind of stuff? Isn't that one of the things that you take the bar exam for, so you know how to proceed when these kind of situations arise? Why is it that when these kind of situations come up, we just don't know what to do? It's crazy how some parts of law enforcement, like these attorney generals, just don't know what to do. But when it comes to like a 15-year-old black kid, the police, another branch of the executive branch of the government, they always know exactly what to do. Shoot to delete. How's that work? I thought they had like standardized processes across the government offices. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm only human. I'm known to be wrong quite often. But isn't that odd? Isn't that strange? What's up with that? Shout out to my man Moxie Approved. What's up with y'all? You know what I'm saying? What's up with that? Make it make sense. There it is right there. DIY Queen got it. That's always what you see. They never know how to proceed when that's the situation. Now, if it came to anybody else, they know exactly how to proceed. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to take this step. We're going to take that step. And usually, most of those steps that they end up taking, in most cases, they always affect somebody else that's not involved, because the CEO, the friends, the family, they all got to get hit as well, right? He faces the critical decision on how to proceed, including whether to open a full-blown criminal investigation. Okay, now, this is something that Michael Eric Dyson and Mark Lemoyce Chill don't think that we're capable of. So you guys ready? Let's show the world how smart we are. If you commit a crime, maybe a criminal investigation should be done. I don't know. Don't call me a genius or anything. If you commit a crime, maybe a criminal investigation should be done. You know, I mean, that's just, don't ask me where I got that notion from. It just seemed like it made sense. But for some reason, this high-level government official is confused as to what to do. I don't know what to do. Hey, yo. Hey, boo-boo. I don't know what to do. Are you serious? You don't know what to do, bro? Right. Shout out to my man Moxie Approved. And yo, my man Moxie Approved got a live stream coming up tomorrow. Make sure y'all check it out. You know what I'm saying? What's up with y'all? What's up with y'all? Welcome back to Moxie Approved. Shout out to my man Moxie, man. Y'all got to go check my brother content out, man. So now here it says John Loss Jr., the U.S. attorney in Chicago, has briefed Garland multiple times. No additional briefings are scheduled, but would be conducted if necessary, a source said. So if there's no additional briefings scheduled, then what that basically means is that there's not going to be any more exchange of information. And if there's no more exchange of information, then that means that what we're doing is we're acting like we're evaluating the information that we already have. But if we were actually evaluating the information that we already have, then that means that we'd be moving towards some kind of disciplinary action. And that's not what's going to happen. Carl just said, you sound just like him. That's hilarious. What's up with y'all? What's up with y'all? Welcome back to Moxie Approved. Oh my God, we're talking about Mexico. So now here it says the classified documents were dated between 2013 and 2016. We know all of this. We know all of this. What we want to know is what was in the actual documents. You know what I'm saying? U.S. attorney has submitted preliminary findings to Garland. Loss has already completed the initial part of his inquiry and provided his preliminary findings to Garland, a law enforcement source said. This means Garland must now decide how to proceed, which again, Garland shouldn't need to make a decision on how to proceed. What Garland should do is Garland should take the information that's there and use that information in how he proceeds. Because remember, a criminal act has been committed. So basically what they're saying without saying it is that Garland has to decide whether he's going to go through with charges or not. Now, if Garland is Biden's man, is he going to go through with the charges? If you guys think Garland is going to go through with the charges, give me a thumbs up. If you guys think that he's not going to go through with them, he's going to sit on them, or either he's going to wait until any kind of statute of limitations that he can wait on is up. Let me know. Facts, Deneen. We still don't know what was in Trump's documents. The only thing that we know is the speculation that the media keeps putting out. You know what I'm saying? Garland was also personally involved in some of the key decision-making related to the Trump documents investigation and the decision to send the FBI to search Mar-a-Lago. So what this shows is that Garland is already not proceeding in the same way. He's not being consistent. Facts, Jay. He took the money. You know what I'm saying? Garland chose to have Launch conduct the Biden investigation, documents investigation, because he is one of the 2 remaining Trump-appointed U.S. attorneys, and to avoid the appearance of conflict of interest because he wasn't appointed by Biden. People briefed on the matter said, but if Garland is making the decision, if Garland is the one that makes the end decision on this, what does it matter what attorney he picks? Facts. PD Chicago. Facts. It's a shell game. Super facts. In addition to Garland, Launch has also conducted additional briefings with other Justice Department officials. At this point, the source says Launch is not expected to undertake additional fact gathering. So basically what that means is that when it comes to this Biden situation, currently it's all over. If there's going to be no more fact finding, if there's going to be no more information exchange, if there's going to be no more investigation, what that effectively means is that the investigation is shut down, right? That's what that means. If there's not going to be any more inquiries, if there's not going to be any more investigations, if there's not going to be any more requests for information, how is anything new going to be found? It's not going to be. It's done. It's over with. Now the only thing that's happening is media hoopla. In an awkward moment on Monday, Garland was sitting alongside Biden at a diplomatic summit in Mexico. Everything go down in Mexico. Oh my God, we talking about Mexico. While reporters shouted questions about the probe. Look at this. Both men ignored the questions. Now, we've never seen that before, have we? I didn't hear anything that you said. I didn't hear what you said. Mr. Biden, what about the documents found in your former office? I didn't hear you. My hearing aid battery just happened to die. Lausch was one of the rare Trump-era holdovers who wasn't told to resign after Biden's inauguration in 2021, which again would probably tell you something. Anybody who they thought was a threat, they would tell them to resign. You have to get out. They let this guy stay because clearly this fella here probably has a price. He can be bought. Because if he was a threat, they would have got him up out of there. And Illinois' 2 Democratic senators supported the decision to keep him at his post in part because he was handling the politically sensitive investigation of Michael Magden, the former Democratic Illinois House Speaker, indicted on corruption charges. Imagine that. Did you guys know about him? Michael Madigan, some Democrat that was indicted on corruption charges. I'm going to tell you guys something. So many of these people get indicted on corruption charges at the state and local level. You don't even keep up with it. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to keep up with it because there's so much of this information coming out daily. Okay. Yeah, real life Victor Newmans. Yeah, exactly. That's it right there. I done laundered the money already. Now go and sit down somewhere. Facts. Go and sit down somewhere. We good over here. We got it. We don't need you no more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the Dems are super greasy. And you know they wasn't going to blast this all over CNN or MSNBC or anything like that. They got it at the end of this article, at the very end of this article about Biden. You know what I'm saying? So what does that tell you? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I appreciate each and every one of you guys who are here. Make sure you smash the like button if you haven't. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. If you're not subscribed to Blacklight Revelations 1, make sure you guys go over there and subscribe to Blacklight Revelations 1 because we're at 4K right now. You know what I'm saying? And also make sure you guys leave a comment at the end of the stream. That definitely helps. And I will catch you all on the next video. All right? Peace.